there, fellow purpurinos! We've been mining Candy's other channels for nuggets of insight, and boy oh boy did we find one. Did you know? In March of 2021, Candy got a job at Sky Zone? This is the story of her brief stint there. We start on the morning of March 14th, as Candy describes her previous day at work. She called it her unofficial first day because she was originally supposed to begin today. Apparently, she picked up another person's shift.
We're gonna let her go, uninterrupted, and merely keep tabs of the very stupid things she says. They basically fall into two categories: stuff you shouldn't say or do if you're interested in continued employment. Basically, work no-nos. Also, the clues she drops about her place of employment. 6-0, and I will be back after she's done, but before the final chapter.
So, yesterday morning, within the first 5 minutes of work, see, I filled in for somebody, and at least 4 or 5 people asked me to fill in for them. So I filled in for somebody. Today was supposed to be the original first day of work. See, the last Monday, they said it was a shadow day, and then Wednesday was orientation. I thought I was going to get work for Thursday and Friday, but, there was an opportunity I could have taken on Friday, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed to. Plus, I was checking out the hotel. So that's why I didn't take Friday's opportunity, but I took yesterday's. And then, this week, maybe twice in that other hotel, they sleep deprived me. But then some of the other days I was able to get me some sleep. Then, right when I start working, they sleep deprive me. And so the first 5 minutes of work yesterday, I had so much fun. Like the first 5 or 10 minutes. And then the assistant manager, Mike, told me that if there's nobody over in my area, then I can be free to roam around and monitor other areas. So then they had this young 20-year-old kid named Justin, who Justin was apparently mad. He was one of the people who was begging so hard for somebody to take his position, but I took another person's position. I can only take one person's position. So look, they had a black girl, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she also asked if anybody can take over. And guess what? She didn't come to work mad. So Justin was mad because he wanted to take somebody to take over his shift. And it's all these, they said at the orientation, let people know in advance, but it's all these constant last minute call offs, and they can still keep their job. And so Justin, what he did was he came out of nowhere, and I didn't know he was over there, and he got really fucking rude and nasty towards me, plus throwing the devil horns up at me while trying to tell me to go over back on my spot and stuff. And he's like, yes, there's somebody over there. I'm like, well, I didn't know, because it's there was nobody over there, and it's it's very quick when somebody come over to a certain spot when nobody's there, so it's when nobody was there. And so I told him, I don't remember exact words, but I told him, he told me in a very condescending, disrespectful, demeaning kind of way, to go over at my spot and tell me you're not supposed to be over here or whatever. And and I don't remember exactly what he said, but I said, watch how you talk to me. And it's he didn't back down or anything like that. So I told the manager said he talked to him. And then, the assistant manager. And so, then it's like Justin had to have the last word. And as I said, he threw up devil horns while being disrespectful as hell. And then self-righteous, like he think he's the boss and got authority over me, telling me what to do. And it's like, wait a minute, it's like my first 10 or 20 minutes, And so, even when Steven was training me on Monday, and he yelled at me like a stubborn dog to tell me to go back upstairs, and it's like Steven looked like he's about 24 or something. And Steven, the way he talked to me and stuff like that, mostly Steven was respectful, but he kind of like a little upset me at that time. And I was just trying to go and get me some hand sanitizer, because the pump at the that was up by our stuff, up on the thing, it wasn't pumping out that good. So I went to go get me some sanitizer somewhere else because they had to do a little cleaning. So then it's like, so then after that I saw Steven having a casual conversation and went over to another co-worker and went and have a conversation with him. And it's like, well, what a hypocrite, And so then Steven would periodically go to other co-workers' stations and go talk to them, or they go to their area and talk to them. And it's like, well, and so then it's like later on he tried to talk all friendly with me. And so then it's like, I said, hey, Steven, why did you talk to me like that? And so I said, how old are you? He said, oh, I'm 21. He said, I'm 20. I said, do you know how old I am? I said, I am 37. And he was like, got very shocked. And so I didn't hear much of any disrespect from him. But I remember at the pools in 2019, how 15, 16, and 17-year-old children did not care how they treated me, how they try to handle me, how they talk to me, order me around, tell me what to do, and disrespecting me. None of them are my manager. Justin's not my manager either. I didn't even know Justin was over there. He was supposed to have, taken off from work. So then they said no two people should jump on a trampoline at the same time. And so, let me back up. Well, by the time I got over by the area where Justin was, where I didn't know he was over there, I was told to periodically roam around. And by the time I got to the area where Justin was, it's like, at the last minute, a lady came and she was trying to get one of her kids, but really nobody was over there, and that's why I went and roamed around like Mike told me, and then Justin tried to argue me and had to have the last word, trying to say that yes, there was a lot of people over there. He was a damn lie. But it's like he cut out of his work area to go and have casual conversations numerous times with other co-workers and stuff like that. And then I saw how he engaged and was super nice and friendly with the little children and stuff like that. But here, this is the first time in my life I ever see you, and you just try to bully me about, going back over to my area. Motherfucker, I'm 17 years older than you. And so when he yelled at me like that, my eyes started to bawl. I almost started to break down, have an emotional meltdown and cry and just want to say, fuck it, I quit. So, but it's like, I'm not going to quit over these fucking children. That motherfucker just barely out of high school. and I had been having a bachelor's degree for years. I'm not even supposed to have to be in this situation. But because I didn't sell my soul to the devil is the reason why I could not have my career that I would have desired to have. And then this whatever MK Ultra mind control and this targeting. But Justin was definitely a devil worshiping perp who flashed Baphomet devil horns at me while yelling at me and being disrespectful to me. And so they had a parent who went to when his daughter, I didn't know that was his child, and then the daughter kept on double bouncing in the same trampoline square as other kids, and I kept trying to get her attention to tell her she's not supposed to do that, and I told her in a nice way, and then the dad got rude. Like, he said, oh, that's my daughter, that's my child. And then he tried to lie for her. And he was wearing green, very light green clothes. And so he was a vicious bully and then aggressively demanded that I leave him alone. Off a first time of... But I'm like, I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I was told to tell everybody to do for safety reasons. And so he's like, you better leave me alone. So then I called the assistant manager, Mike. And so then that guy, obviously, see, they're trying to cut my video off early. So I'm going to have to do a part 2. Well, I confronted the manager about, thinking I was singled out about the work as a dedicated cleaner. But he told me he said, we have a certain budget. Well, I understand, and I know y'all have a certain budget, but he said that I'm the oldest one there, and since there were a whole bunch of teenagers and young adults who are in college and stuff, and they got other things to do, that he was saying that that's the reason why they all work part-time. But he said that, because I thought I was being singled out, but he said, thank you for bringing that to my attention. But he said that it's more like trying to help me, So he said I'm still supposed to get paid more than everybody else. And I'm, still supposed, get more hours than everybody else since I have open availability. So then he's like, well, if your performance is not good, then we're going to have to reduce your hours. But I figure, I don't even know if he's in on the gang stalking or not, but I know that Mike is, even though Mike is like fake nice, but throwing up all those devil horns hand signs. So I don't know if the bigger manager, Brian, I don't see him that much, but I don't know if he's in on the gang stalking or not. But even Brian himself is younger than me. All of them are younger than me, I'm the only older one there, and it's like, how degrading. Now I have a college degree and can't use it because I didn't sell my soul to the devil, and because, me being blocked from everything normal. And so it's like, wow, these people younger than me having positions of authority over me, or can tell me what to do or dictate my life, But it's like, I'm glad they gave, I didn't know until I got there, but I'm glad they gave me the opportunity to work and stuff like that, But if you're younger than me, I don't have a problem. If your position is manager and assistant manager and you're younger than me, I respect your position as long as you don't try to, disrespect or abuse me. I'll do what you say, But the thing is, co-workers who is not the manager, who hypocritically, try to bully and boss me and stuff like that. Even if they're older than me and they're a co-worker and stuff, I have a problem with that. But it's worse when you're younger than me and when you're nearly half my age and treat me like this. And especially when you're a teenager, you're an underage child. So, that truck is still there. Wait, where is it? So, I'm saying I do appreciate, given the opportunity for a job and then, to get to have fun. But I told Brian that I thought that I was being singled out, and he said that wasn't really the case, But he said that they definitely need more cleaners, because I was the only one that's called dedicated cleaner, on the app and stuff. And I was wondering, why are you singling me out? So as long as if I get more hours and you follow up with your your promise of higher pay than everybody else, and understand I'm trying to fight to get off the streets, even though I don't expect to work this job for longer than 6 months or anything. I'm hoping I can find something better, or maybe even my own business opportunity if life goes on as normal and we're not in chaos or FEMA camps or war or anything crazy, So it's like I'm just I guess this is a stepping stone, but everybody telling me with my college degree I ought to have a managerial position somewhere. But it's like me having a degree but no skills, but being blocked from getting opportunities to have skills. So it's like I just want y'all to understand what I'm trying to say, But that kind of bothered me, when he talked about the appearance thing. Said, oh no, and guess what? They had this ghetto family. It was a couple with their baby, and then the mom kept purposely leaving the 3-year-old child by himself when I was told that you're not supposed to leave the kids alone, that the parents have to be by the. I don't know if that was her husband or boyfriend. Alright, so it's 8:03 a.m. My video got cut off because of the storage space. So what I was trying to say was, this couple, it was a pregnant woman and her, I don't know if that was her husband or boyfriend, and they had their 3-year-old baby, that they kept purposely leaving by himself. And then they had this girl named Janisha that was a co-worker. She said she only been there for 2 weeks, but when I approached Janisha to try to talk to her and answer her a couple of questions, she looked at me like I was afraid she was gonna hit me or do something violent to me. Like she wanted me to get the fuck away from her, And I asked her how long she'd been working there, and I saw Janisha lie to the lady and said that it's okay for her to leave the baby by herself. So that tells me Janisha is a perp as well. And it's like I better steer clear from her. So, but it's like, the lady went up, like she didn't believe me, and she also treated me like I didn't have a right to enforce the rules, So she went up and asked Janisha, about the leaving a 3-year-old child by themselves, and Janisha said yeah. And so, some parents act like they think it's okay if they keep an eye on a child from a distance, but they said that the parents have to keep the children close to them, for safety reasons, because it's very easy to get hurt, even killed and stuff like that. So my situation is, I jumped in the foam pit yesterday. After work, I did some jumping despite being sleep deprived. I still jumped on the trampolines and stuff anyway. And I fell into the foam pit. And even people, there was an elderly white lady, but not that old, but she looked like she was in her 50s or 60s. And she was able-bodied enough to get in and get out. But I don't know how other people can get in and out of that foam pit with the foam cubes. And me, I can't do it. I have a hard time struggling to get out. So they left me in there for like 20 minutes. Well, one of the workers, I think she was new as well and wasn't sure what to do, but she tried to help me what she could. But it's like, it felt like, I felt the same, I guess, hysteria from the typical drowning and nobody want to help you kind of situation. It's like, how long am I going to be stuck in this pit? But I'm glad one of the guests helped me, and she helped me. And I got dragged. They used this device to drag me out of there. I'm never doing that again. So I'm just going to stay on an open jump and do the stunt fall. I get too scared to jump high from the stunt fall, so I go backwards and just, like, I stand kind of low and then let myself fall backwards. And it's like, I realized that even 3-year-old kids can do backflips and front flips and stuff. And one lady was allowing her son to do this thing called a gainer, and she tried to argue me it wasn't a gainer and tried to lie and say it was a front flip. No, it wasn't. You know, that boy was doing, but he didn't know. He was a little 3-year-old. But I was telling her, you know, and she tried to wrestle with me, not physically, but, you know, verbally. So it's like, some parents are respectful, but most of them, you know, do what the hell they want. And it's like, rich people are always complaining about shit being overpriced, even though that place is overpriced. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, I even told Mike, I said that, you know, I did not mean for any trouble. And it's like, I know it wasn't a good look for the first day, not the orientation, but the shadow day plus the other day, you know, not having like an argument, but, you know, dealing with abusive, disrespectful parents and stuff like that, who they act spoiled and entitled. So that co-worker, what's his name, Justin, what he did, well, I guess all the situations were unnecessary and uncalled for and didn't have to happen, but they chose for that to happen for perp reasons, you know. And Justin is the type of person who would be a narcissistic perp who smile in everybody's face and kiss everybody's ass, and he's popular and the popular favorite without any good reason and stuff like that, you know. I really can't stand people. I really hate people like that. And then that Janesha girl, she treated me the way she treated me, but then there was this white guy, I don't know, this white boy, I don't know his name, but they were having like extensive, long conversations talking. So Justin can go from his position to go and casually talk to other co-workers. But here I'm doing as I instructed and got yelled at for it. You know? And Justin did not have that authority. He's just a co-worker and he was fucking mad. You know, he wouldn't have treated other co-workers like that, because I observed how he interacted with other co-workers plus the guests. No rudeness at all. So what he did to me, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that at all. So I think I'm done talking about everything for my first official day of, you know, work.
26. We counted at least 26 things one shouldn't say or do if they're looking to keep their job. Now, we need to factor in the parts she left out. How do y'all think she actually handled these difficulties and the things she did in response? Did she politely, at a convenient time for Mike or Brian, express concern with the perceived lack of respect afforded her by Steve and Justin? Or is it more likely she hurriedly waddled up to either of them and made her complaint the same way she complains about gang stalking and hotel banishing? Yeah, we're guessing the second option. But that's not all. As you heard, she really thinks age matters at a workplace where everyone is over 18. It certainly does not. Think about it logically. Job experience is measured in time. If worker A has X hours on the job and worker B has 0 hours outside of training, it doesn't matter how old they are. Worker A has more experience. That shit don't matter to Candy, though. While a college degree is almost always a guarantee of more money, that's based on the assumption that the degree is relevant to the work. And even in other fields of work, an unrelated degree shows the capacity to learn. Extra money is sometimes a bonus of that, but the trade-off is they expect you to learn quickly. Candy is not a quick learner, as we all know from observation alone. And if she did anything well, it sounds like she managed to make trouble for several groups of people. She pissed off customers, she confronted the manager about perceived injustice, she pissed off co-workers, then she complained to the assistant manager. To top it off, she got her ass stuck in the foam pit. A 37-year-old woman who demands respect based on her age was playing in a foam pit. Make that make sense, Candy. Do you want to be treated like a child or an adult? You can't act like a spoiled brat and be expected to be treated with adult respect.
And let us not forget, she basically gave away where she was working. She didn't have to say the words Sky Zone, talking about trampoline squares. The foam pit and other features were more than enough to start looking up the Pensacola Sky Zone. She posted these in the morning before work. So let's jump to the end of the workday for the completely unsurprising conclusion.
Y'all see the Escambia County Sheriffs right there? It's now 4:23 p.m. and I know it was either my twin sister or Stars 15K illegally some kind of way found out where I worked and then told them about my YouTube channel, and then they fired me and wrongfully banned me from here, telling me I did nothing wrong. But then they had that narcissistic police officer Cole. And then he tried to say, oh, that's one thing about social media. It'll come back and bite you in the butt. And then he tried to make it like I don't have a right to explain myself in no discussion. But the manager, Brian, he was fake nice. And then was like, oh, Candy, hey, how are you doing? How's your day so far? And then he secretly snuck and he didn't even tell me he had a problem with me. But then he's like, oh yeah, how's your day so far? And extra fake nice and everything. So I mean, I'm sitting here thinking you do this to your own twin sister. Your own fucking twin sister you do this to. And look, a gang stalking white SUV over there. And they try to ask, I told them straight to their face. I said, y'all all going to hell. And so they try to ask me for my phone number. I said, you know what? Y'all don't deserve my phone number. That's one of them right there. They're all narcissistic abusers. You know, the oldest police officer, Officer Cole, and then they had another one, Ramerson, and I don't remember the other one. So they told me if I ever come back, I'll go to jail. See, they want to... I don't know what the hell they try to talk about. Oh yeah, we saw your YouTube channel. I'm like, I didn't even mention Sky Zone. I didn't even mention the name Sky Zone, but I think my twin sister and Stars 15K, they were determined to find where I work at and, you know, try to set me up to get fired. So I ought to be entitled to every right to keep begging for more money. If this is what y'all did to me, that I try to work on my own. You know, so I said I didn't even mention Sky Zone in any of my videos. How did they find my videos? I mean, how did the employer find my video? The same way Stars 15K bragged about getting me kicked out of hotel rooms. She bragged about getting me kicked out of hotel rooms and stuff like that. And you know, so they secretly, like, Brian played fake nice, and then they, you know, secretly came here, surprised me with the police and everything like that. You know, but all the torment, abuse, and harassment that gets done to me every day, and it's like all this that happens to me, and there's nothing anyone can do. You know, nobody even warned me or told me about this. I mean, talking about, oh, that's one thing about social media, it'll come bite you in the butt. You know, so they're talking about, oh yeah, you're sitting there talking about gangs and race and stuff like that. Like, what are you talking about? Talking about, talking about gangs and race. And then I wasn't allowed to say anything. And I told them they're all going to hell. All Satanists. Narcissistic Satanists. You know, I have a right to post what I want, and all y'all care about is the image of y'all company. You know, so they clearly don't want me to work.